Questions are influence. But influence in any form demands a cost. Use it to dominate others, and you become a manipulator. Use it to stir thought, and you become a thinker. Socrates, known not for winning every debate, but for never approaching one with conquest in mind. While others exhausted themselves defending their stances, he asked instead. Each question, crafted like a blade, sliced through pretension until their positions collapsed on their own. He never yelled. He never showed off. He relied on quiet and logic, tools few possess the resolve to wield. And today, I'll walk you through 5 questions, tools of the Socratic craft. Learn to use them, and you'll do more than prevail in arguments. You'll guide discussions, shape events, and influence people. But be warned, this skill isn't for those who crave the spotlight. It's for those who seek to master not just others, but their own minds. Before exploring those 5 tools, we need to grasp why inquiry always outclasses confrontation. Why these 5 questions strike with such intensity. When someone argues, they reveal their structure. Their logic stands like a tower. Remove a single support beam, and the whole structure caves. But the one who questions doesn't stack bricks. They dig deep into the foundation of thought. And when that ground proves hollow, everything above it falls. A question is unseen, yet it holds the might of truth. You can't be defeated when you ask. Statements may falter, but a sincere question cannot be wrong. Here's where the psychology comes in. Arguments trigger defense. Questions provoke reflection. Socrates knew the ego clings to being right, so rather than confronting it, he invited others to lay out their inner map. And at the edge of that map, they found only shifting ground. His goal wasn't conquest, it was clarity. Part 1. How do you know that's accurate? Deceptively basic. Yet this is the question that uproots belief. Everyone holds convictions, but few explore why. Most beliefs are copied, passed down, or absorbed from society. I saw it online. Everybody thinks so. It's common sense. These aren't reasons, they're reflexes. They show the idea has never been examined. Because most people don't reason, they repeat. They accept not what's true, but what's repeated most loudly. They claim social media is poisoning society, that success demands a diploma, that joy comes from more income. But if you ask, how do you know? They stumble. And when they can't defend their belief, they start doubting their own foundation. They realize what they took for fact was just emotion dressed as logic. Socrates knew, untested ideas become invisible rulers. One day in Athens, a bold man confronted him. Your philosophy is pointless. Reality is the only fact. Socrates calmly asked, and how do you know? The man replied, because that's what everyone says. Socrates leaned closer. Everyone, or just you? No one recalls his answer, only that he left quietly, because for the first time, he actually thought. In the real world, when someone says, that can't be done, don't argue. Ask, are you certain? According to whose results? When someone predicts your failure, ask, what exactly gives you that confidence? Then be silent. Don't counter. Let them sit in the echo of their own words. And here's the advanced strike. What would need to be true for that to be false? That flips their logic and makes them confront their blind spot. Sometimes, that one question turns the proud into statues. Part 2. What are you presuming? Arguments are like icebergs. What you hear on the surface is only a fraction of what truly exists. Beneath the calm tip lies a massive structure of hidden beliefs, unchallenged expectations, and silent fears that hold the entire argument together. Most people never dive below the surface. They argue at the tip. The Stoic warrior swims beneath. Take the statement. Everyone should attend college. It guarantees good jobs. It sounds reasonable at first glance, but look underneath. There is a presumption that all people desire the same definition of success. That life's worth can be measured in salary numbers, that a diploma somehow guarantees competence, fulfillment, or meaning. Tug on those roots, and the entire belief trembles like a tower built on sand. This question, what are you presuming, isn't an attack, it's illumination. It forces the other person to reveal the foundation they've never examined. Most people operate not from truth, but from assumption. They chase approval, status, expectations inherited from culture, family, or fear, never stopping to ask, who planted this belief inside me? Seneca warned us, we suffer more from imagination than from the world itself. Our pain often blooms from narratives we never inspected. We imagine humiliation where none exists. We assume everyone is watching, judging, remembering. But most are too lost in their own noise to notice ours. A young soldier once asked Marcus Aurelius how to avoid feeling insulted. The emperor simply replied, "Understand that words can't hurt unless you assume they can." The injury is not in the sound, it's in the meaning we assign to it. Strip away the assumption, and the insult is just vibration in the air. So when you hear someone declare, "I'm not enough," ask, compared to whom? And watch the illusion crumble. The standard they were chasing dissolves like smoke. When someone insists, everyone must attend college, ask, are you assuming every destiny follows a single road? Suddenly, the unseen chains loosen. This question is a blade that cuts through fog. It doesn't argue, it uncovers. It reveals the ghosts behind our conclusions. It exposes the invisible rules we obey without consent. Ask it calmly. Ask it gently. Ask it often. Because beneath every rigid belief lies a hidden assumption, and beneath every assumption lies a truth waiting to be freed. Part 3. What proof would change your mind? This question is a dividing line. It separates thinkers from believers, students from zealots, and the humble from the hardened. A rational mind says, "Show me stronger evidence, and I will shift my view." A closed mind says, "Nothing could convince me otherwise." The moment those words escape their lips, the conversation ends. They have stepped off the path of reason and onto the altar of pride. Most people don't realize how terrifying this question truly is. Because if no evidence can alter your belief, then your belief isn't built on logic, it's built on identity. And anything tied to identity becomes sacred, untouchable, defended at all costs. Once you worship your opinion, thinking stops, growth ends, truth becomes irrelevant. Try it in the real world. Someone proclaims, "Crypto is a scam." Instead of arguing charts and technology, simply ask, what kind of proof would make you reconsider? If they answer, "Nothing," you've already won, without raising your voice or lighting a single rhetorical flame. They've confessed something most never admit. Pride sits on their throne. This question is not meant to embarrass, it's meant to illuminate. It exposes whether someone is seeking truth or defending ego. The Stoic warrior is not afraid to be wrong, because being wrong is simply a path toward being wiser. Epictetus taught, "No man learns what he thinks he already knows." Wisdom is not found in clutching opinions like shields. It's found in opening your palm and letting outdated beliefs fall away like dead leaves. The wind of new evidence cannot reach those who keep every window locked. When someone pressures you to agree with them about politics, religion, markets, relationships, anything, Calmly reply, if new evidence emerged tomorrow, would you reconsider? Watch their eyes. If they say no, then you've discovered their ceiling. They cannot rise above that point. Their growth ended where their certainty began. It's not arrogance to walk away. It's discipline. If they say yes, even quietly, you've opened a door. Not to debate, but to shared exploration. You've invited them onto common ground where truth, not ego, becomes the compass. Ask yourself this question as well. What proof would change your mind? It is a test of humility, a ritual cleansing of stale assumptions. The moment you answer honestly, you transform into a lifelong learner, someone who bends with truth instead of breaking against it. Because the Stoic warrior understands, the strongest belief is not the one never questioned, but the one that survives honest examination. Part 4. What would a critic say? This question forces the mind to step outside of itself, and that is one of the hardest journeys a human can take. The fragile want to win, the arrogant want to dominate, but the wise seek to understand, even when that understanding challenges their comfort. This question is not about surrendering your position. It is about elevating your perspective. If you cannot accurately articulate the opposing side, then you don't truly understand the issue you defend. The Stoics knew this well. They trained themselves not only to express their own reasoning, but to examine the beliefs of those who disagreed, fairly, respectfully, thoroughly. Without this discipline, you are not debating an idea. You are defending your ego. Someone declares, capitalism is clearly the best system. You respond, what would someone critical of capitalism say? If their answer is shallow, they're jealous, then they have never truly listened. True understanding requires stepping into another's shoes, breathing their air, seeing through their eyes. Marcus Aurelius once advised his son, to grasp your opponent's reasoning better than they can, that is wisdom. Not to defeat them, but to refine yourself. When you know the strongest argument against your own belief, you can either evolve or stand firm with clarity instead of blind loyalty. Picture a military classroom. A young cadet insists, the army is fair. Break rules, face punishment. An old officer gently interjects, and if the rules were written by a corrupt man, the room goes silent. That silence is the sound of perspective shifting. One question can be more transformative than hours of instruction. Use this tool in daily life. In political tension, ask, if you had grown up in a different country, would your beliefs be the same? Identity often masquerades as certainty. In personal conflict, ask, if you stood in my position, how would you feel? Suddenly, the shield of anger becomes difficult to hold. This question melts hostility because it reaches where reason alone cannot, empathy. It reminds us that the world is not built of absolutes, but of histories, traumas, environments, and experiences we may never share. When someone can describe their critic accurately, without mockery, you know they are thinking, not reacting. Ask this of yourself as well. What would your critic say about your habits, your beliefs, your weaknesses? Not to shame you, but to expand you. The Stoic warrior does not fear opposing views. They invite them, explore them, and emerge sharper. For the one who can stand in another's mind, even briefly, stands at the threshold of wisdom. Part 5. What if everyone thought this way? This question is the final strike, the blade that cuts through the comfortable fog of personal exception. It drags lofty, convenient beliefs down from imagination and forces them to stand in the real world. Many ideas sound noble when applied to one person, but collapse under the weight of everyone. Someone says, People should do whatever they want as long as it doesn't harm. It sounds enlightened, but ask gently, who defines harm? Does emotional pain count? Does future consequence count? Does harm to the self count? Suddenly, the foundation trembles. Most people never push their beliefs to the edge, because there, the cracks appear. Socrates called this reductio ad absurdum, pushing a belief to its logical extreme to test its strength. Marcus Aurelius echoed the same principle. What is just must be just for all, not merely for the individual. Truth is universal. If it breaks when applied broadly, it was never truth, only preference wearing a moral mask. Consider the small excuses we whisper to ourselves. It was just a harmless lie. But if everyone lied a little, trust would rot like wood left in water. Or someone shrugs, everyone else does it. But if everyone surrendered to that rationalization, who would rise to lead change? Who would hold the line? Who would protect the standard? This question acts like a mirror that cannot be avoided. It reflects not just action, but consequence, not just desire, but responsibility. When someone sees their beliefs scaled from one life to an entire society, moral comfort dissolves. The Stoic warrior does not ask, "Can I justify this for myself?" They ask, "Could humanity survive if everyone walked this path?" Ask this quietly, calmly, and watch the mind awaken. Because principles worthy of your life must be strong enough to hold the world. Part 6. Advanced Techniques. By now, you've seen how questions can peel away assumptions and unravel beliefs. But there are deeper, sharper techniques, subtle maneuvers used by seasoned thinkers. These aren't tricks, they're disciplines, tools for clarity when conversations drift into fog. Use them sparingly, wisely, and with intention. 1. The tactical pause. Once you've posed your question, do nothing. Stay absolutely still. Let silence expand like a widening circle in water. Most people panic when quiet descends. They rush to fill it. In that rush, they expose half-formed thoughts, insecurities, contradictions, the very fault lines they tried to hide. Silence is uncomfortable because it forces an encounter with one's own mind. In that stillness, their inner voice grows louder, echoing against the walls of reason. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. The Stoic warrior doesn't fear the void. They weaponize it. And ironically, the one who remains silent holds control. When you are not scrambling to respond, you become immovable, steady, a mirror in which the other must face themselves. 2. The clarification spiral. When their answer feels vague, incomplete, or cushioned by abstraction, gently tighten the loop. Could you elaborate on that? And what exactly do you mean by that? Can you make that clearer? Each pass through the spiral requires more precision. Each layer removed brings them closer to the core or reveals the absence of one. Eventually, many realize they don't actually know what they're saying. They were repeating something they never understood. The spiral isn't aggressive, it's surgical. It separates borrowed belief from genuine thought. 3. The reality check. Some ideas float freely in the realm of fantasy until you drag them back down with a single question. Could you give a concrete example? Watch as vague generalities crumble when pressed against the wall of reality. If they can't anchor their belief in something tangible, then their belief is wind, present but without structure. The Stoic seeks evidence, not noise. When imagination collides with fact, truth emerges. 4. The integrity probe. This is where contradictions go to die. You mentioned X earlier. Now you're saying Y. How do those align? Most people don't realize when their arguments drift. They shift positions to protect pride rather than truth. But contradiction is a cage, and once exposed, it closes quickly. Consistency is honesty wearing armor. Contradiction is deception limping without a shield. Eventually, the dishonest corner themselves. Use the integrity probe sparingly. It's powerful. It exposes not just logic, but character. Part 7. Self-defense with grace. If someone starts using this technique on you, don't react defensively. Understand, they aren't attacking you. They're testing the depth of your truth. Stay composed and say, "That's a fair question. What's your take on it?" Invite them from behind the veil of inquiry and level the field. Shift it from interrogation to dialogue. And remember, not every moment calls for rational dissection. There are situations where logic does more harm than good. When someone's hurting, reason won't mend pain. In conversations with authority figures, curiosity might look like defiance. When urgency demands a decision, too much thought stalls action. In close bonds, constant analysis may feel like judgment, not care. A wise Stoic doesn't just speak with precision. They sense when silence, empathy, or presence is the better answer. Part 8. Applying the method in today's world. Knowledge that cannot be applied is merely decoration for the mind. The Socratic method is not meant to be admired from a distance. It is meant to be lived. It is a weapon forged to cut through assumption, ego, and misunderstanding. And in today's world, saturated with noise and rapid judgment, this ancient discipline is more valuable than ever. 1. At work. Leadership is not barking orders. It's revealing blind spots. Instead of commanding, try curiosity. Ask, "What risks do you see if we went the opposite route?" This question invites their mind into the arena. You don't just gain feedback, you gain alignment. When people help shape a path, they walk it with more conviction. A team doesn't follow orders, they follow investment. The Stoic leader knows that ownership is sparked by thoughtful inquiry, not fear-driven direction. 2. In sales. Pressure is the tactic of the desperate. Inquiry is the tactic of the wise. Rather than chase, guide the prospect inward. Ask, if nothing changes, where will your situation be in 6 months? This question bypasses resistance and awakens responsibility. It's not persuasion, it's revelation. Insight sells better than script, and self-realization closes more deals than urgency. When someone answers this honestly, they begin persuading themselves. 3. In parenting or teaching. Authority can force obedience, but only reflection creates maturity. Instead of punishment, prompt insight. Ask, what do you think will happen if you make that choice again? In those quiet seconds where they confront cause and effect, growth begins. You aren't dominating. You're raising someone who can govern their own actions. The Stoics cared less about compliance and more about character. Your goal as a mentor isn't control, it's cultivation. 4. In love. Arguments in love are rarely about logic. They are cries for understanding. When tension rises, resist the urge to win. Ask, what do you need right now to feel heard? A relationship is not a courtroom. Truth does not arrive through victory. Empathy, gently disguised as a question, often softens the heart that no clever argument could crack. A single honest question can travel where 1,000 polished words cannot. In every domain, work, sales, teaching, love, the Socratic method anchors us in clarity. It transforms conflict into curiosity, ego into humility, and assumption into awareness. The Stoic warrior does not conquer through force, but through understanding. Ask the right question, and the world opens. Conclusion: the responsibility of power. Socrates didn't die for telling lies. He died because his questions revealed too much truth. And that's the enduring lesson. Questions are influence, but all influence has a price. Use it to shut others down, and you become a tyrant. Use it to illuminate, and you become a sage. Ask not to defeat, but to awaken. 3 virtues to hold close. Intellectual humility. Accept that you don't know everything. Sincere curiosity. Ask to understand, not to conquer. Collaborative reasoning. Seek exchange, not supremacy. And 4 traps to avoid. Arrogant certainty. Believing you're always above others. Mockery disguised as wisdom. Using questions to wound. Endless doubt. Destroying everything without rebuilding. The judge's pride. Thinking only you hold the truth. One day when you're faced with someone loud, combative or hostile, remember this. You don't need to raise your voice to be right. You just need to ask calmly so they can hear their own thoughts. Because true influence isn't in being listened to. It's in making others listen to themselves. Socrates once challenged mankind with a simple question. Are you sure you truly know yourself? Maybe. It's a question the world still hasn't answered. Final words. These 5 questions are not weapons. Weapons are swung to wound, to win, to dominate. These questions are something far greater. They are disciplines of the mind, subtle exercises in clarity that sharpen thought, temper impulse, and reveal truth without spilling a drop of unnecessary blood. They were forged for a Stoic soul that seeks mastery over self, not applause from the crowd. The world rewards noise. Wisdom rewards silence. The warrior of the intellect chooses the latter. Don't react, observe. Most people live as if their emotions are reins pulled by others. They react instantly, blindly, defensively. But the Stoic steps back. They watch the flame instead of leaping into it. Observation grants power that reaction always forfeits. Don't force, guide. Force breeds resistance. Guidance breeds revelation. When you push, others push back. But when you guide, they walk willingly. That is influence without coercion, the finest kind. Don't battle, uncover. Arguments try to break. Inquiry tries to reveal. The first destroys connection. The second deepens it. Ask to uncover, not to win. Truth needs no fists. Use these questions with others, yes, but above all, turn them inward, because the fiercest battles are fought behind your own ribcage. Ask yourself, how do I know this is true? What am I presuming? What proof would change my mind? What would my critic say? What if everyone thought this way? Self-interrogation is a mirror few dare to face. But the one who does becomes unshakable, because the person who knows how to ask the right question no longer fears any answer. Answers cannot intimidate an examined mind. They cannot disturb a soul anchored in reason. And if you've stayed with me this long, then you belong to a rare tribe. The seekers of insight, not attention. The builders of inner strength, not external noise. Most will scroll past truth, searching for entertainment. You paused, you listened, you thought. That alone sets you apart. If this message resonated with your spirit, drop 3 words below in the comments. Questions are my strength. Let that be your pledge. To live with depth in a shallow age. To grow through inquiry instead of ego. To think with calm, discipline, and silent power. And if this path speaks to you, share this message. Subscribe. Spread it like a quiet revolution. Help build a world where wisdom is louder than noise, where curiosity leads instead of pride, and where the brave ask not to conquer others, but to conquer themselves. The future belongs to the mind that thinks. The question is, will yours.